Hello drone racers, it's the moment you've all been waiting for, at least I've been waiting for, and at least ever since these were announced. These are the Eachine EV100 Goggles. These have been a really mixed bag for people. Some people love them. I think mostly people who are getting these as their first goggles. Some people hate them. Mostly people who thought they were going to be able to get rid of their fat sharks and have these replace them. No, these are not fat shark killers, but I still really like them, especially as I've flown them a little more. I don't know, I think I just have the perfect eyes for them, but the biggest downside I have for them is there's no DVR until now. So this is the Eachine FPV DVR, and it's really made, I think, specifically for the EV100 goggles. Part of what I'm happy about is it's a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. I was afraid it was going to be the same size as the battery. So here's the battery for it, and here's the unit. So it kind of just connects on the side there. It's really actually pretty tiny. I'm really happy with that part. It has an SD card slot, and they do the little extra detail that I always appreciate. It shows which way the memory card goes in. I'm going to go ahead and do that now before I forget about it later when we're trying to record. And it clicks in nicely. This uses the not a balance plug from the battery that comes with the E10S. So this is not a balance plug. It's made to provide power specifically for this unit. You don't charge with this. That just powers the connector here. It can also be powered via USB, so that's kind of nice. Has a not on and off switch. That's not what this means. We'll get into that in a minute. And then not a rewind, play, and fast forward button. So basically, pay no attention to any of the labels. And also, one more thing, a 2.5mm connector port. Also in the box then, you pretty much just get two cables, which I appreciate. So we get a really short one, so connecting it to the goggles when the unit's right up here. You get a nice short one, and then you get a long one if you want to play back and have it connected somewhere else. So that's kind of nice. And at the bottom, there's a manual that you are going to need because you need the manual. Here's the manual. There's the front page. See? And then there's the back. So it tells you how this works. And once you read through here real quick, it's real easy to use. It worked just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and point out some of the problems I had with it, just so you can see, because I have tested it just a little bit. I haven't actually flown with it yet, but I tested it to make sure it functions before we start recording here. So the way this works is there's two ports on here, and they're different sizes. There's a 2.5mm and a 3.5mm port. So it's kind of nice you can't get it backwards, if that would be a possibility, I guess. And then it plugs in over the side here. So there we go. That makes it nice and easy. Then the battery plugs into both the goggles and the DVR. There you go. So what I'm curious of, I haven't actually tried this yet. If you have this in this little slot, the other thing that is in the box is some 3M double stick tape. So you could double stick tape it right there, and that would look pretty nice. It'd be easy to get to the switch, which is important, get to the buttons. That's actually not too bad at all. That fits there pretty well. I think I might just go ahead and do that. There we go. That actually looks pretty good. Make sure you set it so you can get to this SD card. You're going to want to be able to take that out. Some people like Albert Kim have already added external DVRs to these goggles. The problem, I think, I haven't actually watched them do that because I knew I was getting this one, is playback. With this one, this same cable acts as both input and output, and that's the first point here. This switch controls whether this is an input or an output device. So if it's on 0, it's outputting video to the goggles. If it's on 1, it's recording DVR footage. So you have to make sure you keep track of that. And you do get some peculiarities. If you are flying and you have this switch to 0, you get a lot of artifacts, and depending on the camera, it's almost a little nice because you can see an overlay. We'll take a look at that. But then for flying, it's really distracting. You want to make sure you have it on the right one. The buttons, when you're recording, is really easy. All you have to do is click this button, and it will start recording. So there we go. It'll start flashing, and you can see that it's being recorded. Press it again, and it stops. And it just works that way. I'm going to plug in a little Eachine E10. There you can see what I've got, and if I flip the switch to 0, see the artifacts there? And that's if I'm on PAL, but this is a NTSC camera. If I switch it back, then it's clear and I have totally good video. So there we go, and press the button, and you can see now I'm recording, and it's not any darker with this plugged in. I know some people talked about that. I don't have any issues at all. At least I don't think so. I haven't flown it yet that way. But there we'll just record for a few seconds. I'll click the button again and stop recording. So now what you have to do is hold this button down for 3 beeps. So now it's switched my input to AV in, but I don't have any video because I have to flip the switch now to 0, and I have a display. Now I will press the other button, which would be like the fast forward button. One moment, it'll show me my videos. And I will hit play. So there's playing, it's regular video. I don't have any movement here, but there it works. And so then I can also fast forward, which is nice. So here's pretty nice. You can record on your DVR and then go back and watch it, which is my absolute essential for flying. So then you can also press and hold down the play button. It'll bring up the menu. And in the menu, then you have a couple options here. Because I'm in play mode, I can delete the menu and control the volume, format the card, and the main thing is control the TV output, whatever I want that to be on. And it's nice, these goggles are really good about switching back and forth. So then just hold down the play button again and I get rid of the menu. So it works pretty well and it's pretty easy to use. The main thing is to remember what switch you're on, because if you switch it to the wrong one, you get nothing. Okay, so I've got my old reliable E10S with a slightly crooked camera up, and we're going to do a flight through the house while Aiden plays some video games. He's playing Minecraft this time. So we're recording now, which I hadn't, I picked this because it has probably the clearest indoor camera that I've got. It's rock solid. So I have upgraded the antennas on this, but whoa, there we go. Yep, Minecraft. I need turtle mode for this thing. Any problems that I have with this, I'm gonna blame on CleanFlight because I've updated it and my PIDs are all screwed up and everything's all screwed up. So the flight characteristics of this thing are terrible at the moment. I really need to go and redo it. As I was mentioning, I upgraded my antennas, but the problem is I had to use adapters, so I'm definitely losing some signal because of that. My signal and my breakup, I've got a little bit. Ooh, come on, don't crash, don't crash. We're recording here.
30 seconds.
Oh, I have a timer apparently. So I do have some breakup. My signal video isn't spectacular, but being able to record now, you'll be able to see that. So it's really nice for that aspect. We're gonna come back. We'll just do some
10,
minor flights
9,
around. Okay,
8,
we'll wait for
7,
Amber.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Timer 1 elapsed.
Okay, thanks, Amber. So we've got the flights around, and it's flying just fine. I can see just fine. I think I just have the perfect eyes and the space, so I can see great through these goggles. The question will be, I would need to test them outside more because I haven't flown them much, honestly, simply because they don't have a DVR. Doing reviews, I record every single flight that I do, and I haven't been able to use them for that because of a lack of a DVR, and I didn't want to use a separate set of goggles. So now I plan on starting to use these for some of my reviews so we can get a really good test out of them, because if I pause, let's stop here, and I look, and there is a black area around the outside, but I just don't pay attention to it. It's already immersive enough that I can't just read the frequency. I have to move my eyes to look up at the frequency. Other than that, I'm looking at the center of the flights and I can see that it's there, but I don't have great visibility of it. So I don't know, I must just have the perfect eyes for these goggles, because I actually really, the more I fly with them, the more I like them. The color, the view right here, I've got to say, the colors and the brightness is better than my Aomways. I know a lot of people are not going to agree with that, but the video picture that I get, I like better than the Aomways. It's not as washed out as I've got. I tried to adjust them, but I am really happy with these, and if this DVR works, the biggest advantage of the Aomways is probably I can see when I'm recording. So right now, if it stopped recording or I forgot to hit record, I don't know it. That's a huge deal. So the EV100Ds are way better at this. They're also they're half the price of these once you add the DVR. But for comfort level, I could wear these all day much easier. And there was just a blackout, and I'm pretty sure I've got a test for that coming too. I'm pretty sure that is due to it switching antennas. So we're going to find that out later. For now, let's see if I've got enough juice to get it back here, and we'll do a final wrap up. I don't. That's a no. So aesthetically, I'm really pleased with this. I almost wish the cord was a little bit shorter. And if you're really innovative, you could shorten that cord. But that's not bad. That's not bad sticking out the side. The way it sticks to the top is really nice. I can get to the card. I can get to the battery. Having to plug in two things is a little bit of a pain. So, because it won't, if you unplug the battery and you leave this going, it's going to keep discharging. So that's definitely a downside to this too. But as far as options for an add-on DVR, I think this is really slick. I've been this happy with an add-on product for a while. Here you can see my antennas, and I've got an adapter, so I'm losing some signal off of that too as a part of an additional test that I'm working on. But to me, being able to play back the DVR is essential. I record all my flights, as I've mentioned, not just for the review, but there have been times where I'm flying and you have a crash and you eject a battery, and I've got to go and follow through the DVR where my flight was to find a quad. So I had one, I almost lost one time, and it turned out it landed under a pile of leaves. I probably never would have found it, but I went back and watched my DVR footage, watched through, I was flying through the woods, went and found the spot that I crashed at, and then there it was. So I think that's essential, and everybody should record all of them. And if you have a set of EV100s, I highly recommend getting this DVR. I am very, very happy with that. I was ready for it to be really bad, but it's not. I'm quite pleasantly pleased. So if you found this useful, leave a like down below. As usual, there's a link where you can get the DVR. Last I saw, it was sold out, but I'm sure they're going to be stocking more. Now that we've had a little while, if you got these as your first set of goggles and you're watching this because you want to see if you should get a DVR, one, go get one. And two, I want to know if you like them. Are you happy with them? Don't listen to the people who love their Fat Sharks and Aomway, the haters, and don't listen to the people who will only use box goggles, because these are nice. It's a lot easier on my neck. I'm still not going to say I love them, but for me, for my eyes, this roller knob makes such a huge difference. I just can't get my eyes right in my Commanders, and my eyes are perfectly lined up with these without having to change and futz with diopters. I just love that feature so much. So until next time, remember, I actually like these a little bit more every time I use them.